It's Friday, May 29th, and I'm excited to be joined by Zack Akil as we explore some machine learning in Google Forms, of all places. Here we go. All right, it's Friday. Oh, sorry. Hello, and welcome to Adventures in the Cloud. I'm Yufeng, and I am delighted to be joined today by Zack Akil. He's a machine learning engineer and developer advocate based in London. How are you doing today, Zack?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's a sunny day here in London. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful myself. Thank you so much for coming on. It's a good day to build some stuff. Why don't you tell the viewers out there, what we're going to be building today?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're gonna do, I like to build demos, but I don't like having to build all the infrastructure around the demos. So that's where I came up with the idea of instead of having to build front ends to connect your cool APIs, we can just use G Suite, the power of G Suite, and connect those to APIs, and that way you get a front end that everyone's already used to that has built-in sharing functionality. So today, Yufeng is going to be tasked with, or we're both going to be tasked with, building a full application end to end that's going to utilize some natural language processing, some vision video analysis or image analysis, and it's all going to be embedded into Google Forms for the input.
Awesome. And the other kind of neat thing about this, from what I understand of what we're about to do, is even though we're going to build this whole end-to-end thing, there's going to be a front end, there's going to be a back end, we're not going to end up using any local text editor. Like, we're not going to need Sublime or VS Code. We're not going to compile anything. We're not going to run Docker build. We're not going to push any kind of container workloads or services onto any kind of VMs. None of that stuff. And no need to learn Angular or React and HTML scripting and all that stuff. A little bit of scripting.
Exactly that. Exactly. It's going to be nice, relaxing, all with the power of AppScript.
Awesome. And I just realized I need to... Okay. My audio was super out of sync for a second there, so hopefully that clears it up for folks. We got some folks joining us on the live stream, Mohammed, Atanas, and Mark from all over the world here. Let us know where you're joining from, what you're excited to see. Meanwhile, Zack and I, we're going to head on over, I guess. Where do we start? Do we start in Google Forms, or do we start on the ML side? Which end of the application do we go from? Or do you want to talk a little bit about how we're going to kind of, what it's going to look like at a high level first?
Nah, let's get straight into it. We're going to start with the user interactive bit, which is the forms. Let's just
create a new form. And my favorite hack trick of the year probably is this, all the things in G Suite that lets you do docs.new, slides.new, sheets.new. I'm going to guess forms.new works, because if it doesn't, that would be horribly inconsistent, and Google is nothing if not always consistent, right?
Absolutely.
So we got ourselves a form. What should we call it?
Oh yeah, we got to come.
What are we making?
Actually, yeah, we should have thought. What's the problem?
The problem. Yeah, the problem. We have a really big problem we're being tasked with doing.
Yes. I don't know. Like, it could literally, we could think of. Well, we want to analyze images. We're gonna start off with that. So we have to think of, imagine, where do we need a form? Maybe for a conference.
Sure.
Do we have a made-up conference we'd like to design a form for?
Maybe we have a conference where all the speakers, instead of submitting their actual headshots, submit a picture of their favorite duck. And because the conference is like Duck Conf or something like that, and they talk about ducks and all the interesting properties of ducks and how they migrate and how the oils on the duck feathers work so that it keeps the water and the rain off and all that good stuff.
Yeah, let's go with that.
And of course, there's the whatchamacallit, the really important talk about, does it float, right? Do ducks float, and what that means.
Do ducks float?
Well, no, not the do ducks. It's the Monty Python reference, right? About the wood floating, float like wood, and then you could also throw in the other Monty Python piece about Well, I guess that's the coconuts, and that's a swallow, the African swallow versus the.
This is I think I must have missed that episode.
Yeah, we have some required viewing prerequisite movies that the folks will have to watch to get half of our jokes. All right, so ducks. We have to make sure these images are ducks, right? We don't want people accidentally uploading pictures of their faces, like what madness that would be. Headshots that actually have faces on them.
Yeah, no, it's ducks only.
That's right.
So title that only ducks.
Upload picture of the duck that captures, if I can spell it, captures your spirit. It's your spirit duck.
Yeah, of course. Everyone has one assigned to them.
All right. So just, filling this out here. And I guess since it's a picture, oh, what's this? Oh, you can add an image to a question now. That's cool. There's more features being added all the time.
Oh, did you know there's machine learning built into the question thing now?
It depends.
If you start typing a question, it will try to predict the type of question.
What should we type?
For this one, we're going to want an image, but it's like super cool. Like if you ask like, what is your name? Because you can see it's already a multiple choice, but you say, what is your name? Question mark.
Boom.
Look, it changed it to text.
And I guess that is important for
Isn't that cool?
this conference. We need to know the name that goes with the picture.
Sure.
All right, let's add a new question. What is your favorite color?
Also important. Oh, when you spelled it with an R.
With an R?
Or with a U.
I'm not familiar with the spelling of color without an R. Would that just be color?
It's different over here in London. What is your color? Yeah. I mean, we're not going to be using any of this information. Just give them one option, orange. And then let's go for the image now. Image upload. Actually, I wonder if you type in like
response validation magically added based on your question.
Oh,
where? Which one?
That's cute.
I want to know. I didn't even see what happened. Did anyone spot that?
Response validation.
Like what?
Oh.
Is it back?
Maybe it was the other one. Does it only specify?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
All right.
That's curious.
What is your duck? Or maybe see if it can upload it. Upload your spirit duck image. Oh, here it says response validation has been added.
What does it say? Text URL? Close enough, but that's not what we want.
Text.
We want it to be a file upload.
Indeed. All right, file upload. Let respondents upload files to Drive. Respondents will be required to sign into Google when file upload questions are added to a form. Make sure to only share this form with people you trust. And make sure the people you trust are the only ones filling out this form, I guess. Or the people who are filling this form trust us. Please only upload duck pictures, folks.
Trust all over the place.
Allow only specific file types. Wow, up to 1 GB files. That's amazing.
Yeah, all in a form. Like, who is using that? I don't know.
Someone
is.
Your TV episode. Your favorite TV episode. Only allow specific file types. We're looking for an image. Oh, it's funny that drawing is a separate type than image.
Oh, I never noticed that. So that's the drawing, the Google Drawings thing.
Guess. Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. We're not using
this. Is definitely required. It's the only one we really need.
And that's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah. We can preview it.
Here's our preview. We got our questions, and I guess we can add files and answer it. Should we answer something now, or?
Yeah, might as well. Get some test data in there. Hopefully it's gonna let it upload from Drive. Perfect.
So nice.
That's a good one.
Put our first duck in. While that's uploading, some folks chiming in on the live chat. Coming in, we have Daniel from Toronto and Nicholas from Western Massachusetts. I hear it's heating up over there too, even though it's cold a lot of the year. Vancouver, Canada, Ricardo. Hello to Noreen and Noble. And Anu, our co-workers here.
Yeah.
Cheering for AppScripts. Thanks for coming in. Prashant from New Delhi. Hey, how's it going? Required field on name. Oh, Nukia is talking about the validation. Hello from Santa Clara, California. More California from Sasha. Thanks for being on. And Eugenio, nice to see you live as well. I guess I'm not seeing you live. I'm seeing Zack live though. Good to see you here. Yeah. And
oh,
hey,
London,
Tibor.
Yes. Represent.
Tibor is a regular on this channel, so he or I actually don't know if it's a he or she. I should say it's a single name username. So Tibor is from London and comes on and chats frequently. More California, Fremont, Kate and Wesley from Denver, Colorado, and oh wow, a hello from Vermont. Amazing. I don't think I've seen someone chiming in from Vermont before, so that's very cool. Anywho, our ducks have been recorded. Shall we see our responses?
All right. Let's go to our responses, and we can see it's there, but we don't care. What we care about is that spreadsheet export functionality at the top.
And I'm noticing something funny here. Look at this. I'm zoomed in standard and everything looks good. Then if I zoom in once, look at right below that green icon. See how there's two dots that show up? And if I zoom in again, it disappears. And it's like, what is this little artifact coming from?
I mean, honestly, having written a lot of CSS in my time, I would let that slide. I think it could be way worse.
Sure, the icon could have like slid off the page. All right, so we're gonna create a spreadsheet. Let's make a new.
What's cool about this? So it says the language is saying like export to spreadsheet, but it's actually doing something a bit cooler because it's actually creating a link to the spreadsheet because it's not a one-time export. It's any future additions or any future adds to the form will automatically be added to that spreadsheet. So that's also cool to know.
Yeah, and yeah, this connection kind of allows us to get this data out in a format that we can deal with, right? So here's our answers.
Exactly.
Here's my one answer. Only ducks.
Cool.
And so it's nice that the file is uploaded to Drive for us, and and that's cool that it added my name to the. I guess it pulled it from the logged in account.
Don't know how your name got in that. Maybe.
All right, so we got this thing. What's next? Because we so far have just been spending the last 13 minutes doing a lovely tutorial on how to use Google Forms.
Coming up with
which
how to set up
as useful as that is, exactly, a duck conference.
We're now going to get into it. Let's go into AppScript. Let's connect AppScript to this Google Sheet.
Do you want to let's talk to people through how to go about doing that? Yeah,
sure.
So I know how to do it, but I think they want to hear it from you.
Okay. Well, to enable AppScript and connect it to any document, pretty much, if you go to Tools, I think this exists in other types of Google documents. You go to Tools and you go to Script Editor. That's going to automatically generate an AppScript for this document and create that link and binding back to the document. So it's a really nice sort of seamless way of jumping into AppScript.
I'm going to make this bigger so folks can see it. Call this duck. Subtle programming joke. Duck type code. Hey, Alicia is here from Chicago, and we have Jaya from Vermont. So some other folks chiming in from around the country here. All right, so here we are. I thought they changed the editor UI, but I guess not.
I think sometimes they prompt
Yeah.
you if you want to try out the new one. I guess not many people stuck with the new one.
Oldie but a goodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is it worth talking a
Right.
little bit now about for folks who aren't familiar with AppScript, like what it is and why it's important? Because I think many people use Google Forms and spreadsheets and docs as just what they are on the surface, right? And maybe aren't aware of this kind of way to supercharge your documents.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a good thing to do would be to go to the AppScript developer page, because that kind of gives it's a good go-to place if you want to find out more. But in sort of in a high level, AppScript allows you to connect virtually any G Suite, anything from G Suite to anything else from G Suite, and anything else that has an API. Yeah, it shows loads of examples of here. Like you can create connections between like spreadsheets to calendar invites and make sort of automation really easy if you're already using G Suite. So that's the true power of it, is it allows you to automate anything in G Suite, and you can do things with automating just like when something happens inside a document, like do this thing, or it could even be the very generation of a document. So you can use AppScript to say create an entire presentation, a slides presentation, because in the AppScript APIs, and they're all really, really good APIs, because I've had my fair share of like working with less intuitive documentation, but the documentation for AppScript is very good. It allows you to effectively anything you can generate like within a slides. Well, this is one example. In slides, you can position an image. You can do all that programmatically with AppScript. I've used AppScript internally at Google to create sort of automation tasks that will generate docs entirely, where it's inserting text, programmatically inserting animated GIFs. It's truly like a really powerful tool to know about. But yeah.
For sure. This is really cool. And as I was mousing over some of the products that it kind of highlights as things you can connect, there's like the typical ones, but then as I get over to the right, things like Google Sites, I'd like forgotten about that as a, option, right? Like you can connect Google Sites. Like, wow, that's pretty neat.
Oh, yeah, it connects with maps as well.
Your contacts, Google Groups, Translate, like it's quite something, and chat as well. So you could probably link things into chat where when something finishes and you wire it all together so you get a message. That would be cool.
Yeah, and I think as you'll see when we're building what we're building, not only does it connect to anything in G Suite, it is also functionality to just fetch URL, and that can go to any API that you can think of that has a REST endpoint.
Amazing.
So it's truly really cool.
All right, so let's build let's write up our thing. We've got an empty function here. How? Yeah. What are we gonna try to do here?
We want to start off with a quick test. We want to say put in just something to test it out, like insert some text into a cell. I think that's a good place to start. And the way to do that is
I'm gonna click on Spreadsheet here. Actually, pull up the docs just as a second reference. While we're going through this. But we can also, if there's a, I like working off of quick starts or any sort of beginning tutorials and just like stealing snippets of code from that, so that, because like sometimes the particulars, right, of any API can be a little bit hard to derive from first principles, but like if you have an example of it working, and then you can just like tweak it and then build from there.
This is all like the reference API, so I don't know if we're gonna get many. Actually, oh no, they do. I think if you click on an individual like function, it should give you an example.
But I don't even know which function to start with, right? There's so many.
Start with this, just under overview, you got Spreadsheet app.
Oh yeah.
See that in the toolbar? This is like the top level object that describes the
parent
spreadsheet
class with the spreadsheet service. Okay. Got a bunch of properties. And then we've got methods. I guess this is all here, and then there's detailed documentation for all these things. So this is kind of the list. Yeah, so what do we want to do? We want to grab There's get active.
Get active is what we want. We want to get the current spreadsheet, because in the sort of high level API of like spreadsheet app, that can allow you to access not just the spreadsheet that we're connecting our AppScript to, but any spreadsheet that you can provide an ID to and that you have access to. So get active is a nice quick way to just get the current one that's connected.
And so this is me copy pasting the sample code that grabs the URL. We'll probably modify that. We don't really care about the URL of the spreadsheet. We know what that is, but we may want to we can print it just as a thing to show that everything's working, but then we can take this and maybe do something with that, right?
Yeah, what's nice is in this sort of editor that they provide, it gives you Intella, is it called IntelliSense, where it predicts your typing with documentation. So if you go at the back end of the spreadsheet app.getActive, you can call like get range, and that's a really useful function for fetching specific
very
cells.
cool. All these choices, yeah. And then A1 notation is.
So yeah, this is the thing. So I don't know if it shows all the overloaded methods. So you can type in the A1 notation, which is like spreadsheet, like when you put in like the letter of the column followed by the number of the row and stuff. So that's A1 notation. But you can also pass in.
No, go ahead.
What were you gonna say? Oh no, I was gonna say there's an overloaded get range, which allows you to pass in the row number.
Oh, without the A and the B and the stuff. So is that just like two values?
Which is a bit.
Just two numbers.
Yeah, two values separated by a comma. Yeah.
Do you remember if it's row first or column first? So let's say if we wanted to get like row 3, column 1. So like here, or I guess that's here. Maybe we'll do row 4. Just give it a little breathing room.
So that will get the range. Now that doesn't get the range as value. That just gets the reference to that cell. And then after that, you can call either like get value, or you could call set value. I believe it should give you that option. Set value. There you go.
So then I can just put something here like.
Let's put something there. Let's test it out.
All right. So then I can just click this play button, and that should run it.
I'm just gonna
check it against your notes there.
You've got get active,
get range.
Oh, okay.
Value.
So, after get active will get the current sort of spreadsheet, but a spreadsheet document includes all the different tabs. We then want to get the active sheet. So after get active, you want to put in .get active sheet. I wonder that's the way I've got my code, but I wonder if it does that automatically. Anyway, this is a bit safer. All right. We run that. It's going to ask for authorization because it's doing stuff for the first time. Do you trust this developer?
Wow. It goes to this.
Yeah, you gotta
click advanced.
Yeah. What's interesting is when I've done it on like different Gmails, sometimes I don't get that. It's kind of weird.
Depends on how verified your Gmail is, I guess. No.
Ooh, that could be it. So yeah, you can hit play, and you can see there's a drop down next to the play button of like what function you want to run. So it says like my function and stuff. So you can just hit play on that. Running function, and then if we go back to the spreadsheet.
Oh my goodness! It says there's a nice duck right there.
Boom! You've just enhanced your spreadsheet with.
My spreadsheet feels so enhanced.
What we want to do though, we've done something by clicking that play button, but that's not an ideal interface for an end user.
Yeah, not so much.
Ideally, we want the code that we've written to run automatically when a form gets submitted. Yeah. So let's go back to our code. And under, I believe it's edit on the toolbar. Then it shows options for triggers. So you can go like current project triggers.
Now, when it talks about current project, what is that referring to? Is that just this spreadsheet, or is this the whole account?
So the project, when they're talking about project, they're talking about this app script project, which only includes,
this,
I believe,
this app
that
script, basically.
script. Yeah, the script part of it.
Great.
So this is a page where you can add a trigger. So let's go and add a new trigger.
Something went wrong. All right. Just reload it,
Let's try
I guess.
that again.
I think that worked. We'll try it again. Create a new trigger.
Try it.
Oh.
Wait, this weird because there's two buttons to create a new trigger. I always click on the blue button at the bottom corner.
All right, so maybe this button has a bug on it.
It's like, no, you're doing it wrong, Yufeng. You're clicking on the wrong create new trigger button. Ooh.
All right, let me try to actually refresh it manually rather than just clicking the refresh button, because clearly something is going horribly wrong.
Clearly something is going wrong.
Okay.
Hey, that's weird.
Which deployment should run? Head, as opposed to what? Wings, tail, claws? Which part of the duck?
It knows you're talking about ducks. I think this is like, it sounds like it's something to do with version control, but I haven't used version control.
I mean, who uses version control?
I guess it probably is something for that. Yeah, it's like I haven't used version control in such a long time. Yeah, we got the event source. This is interesting because we're doing it from a form, but you don't get that option until you click on the bottom one, which is the event type.
On form submit. So I was gonna say we might have to just do on edit, because what's the difference between on edit and on change then? Huh.
That's a good question. I've never used those events.
All right. On form submit, failure notifications. Well, maybe I should say immediately. I don't know. If it fails, it fails.
I think I send you an email every week.
Well, there's no choice to not have it send me ever, so I just tried to go for the least amount of email spam, right? All right, so I saved this?
Yeah, go for it. Oh, wait a minute.
Script authorization failed. Check your pop-up blockers. Do I even have any pop-up blockers running? I don't think I do. This is unfortunate.
This is great because I've never gotten
I'm going to switch to just the two of us view for a second and just look at my extensions real quick, just in case there's something that we shouldn't be showing. Let's see, I've got that, I don't have any pop-up blockers installed in this profile. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm.
Is this a Gmail profile?
This is an external public normal normal sauce thing. I don't know if Anu or Alicia is paying attention. Oh, look, it popped up this time. Why do I have to authenticate this again?
Hey. Because this is creating a trigger. This is giving the authentication to the trigger.
To this system to run it as opposed to the
That's what I say.
editor?
Yeah. Effectively, you're authorizing the trigger to do something rather than just authorizing the script to do it itself. But anyway, that's it now. You've now got it attached. We want to test it out now by going to the sheet, remove where we previously ran the code, as in remove that debug thing where we placed that 4.1 text, so that we can test it out by running the form and see if the form then runs this code and fills it in.
Do you want to change this number, or do you want to remove this text?
Oh yeah, actually change the number, because then that'll be a bit.
So let's go to the next row.
A more concrete.
Maybe change the text just to make sure it's good. So I'm going to save it. I'm not going to click run. We're going to make another submission.
Yeah, you don't need to do that.
Oops, this is not the place to make submissions. This is the place to make submissions. What is your name? Zack Attack.
That is such a common name.
Yeah, I was like...
That's actually what people called me when I played soccer.
Which duck should we do? 1, 2, or 3 this time? Should we do 1 again, or are we moving on to duck number 2?
Do 1 again. Let's keep doing 1. One's our debug duck.
Rubber ducky. Oh, we should have made that picture a rubber duck. The drive is frozen. That's good.
Ooh, that would have been good.
Actually, all of Chrome is frozen. You're not frozen though, right?
I am not frozen.
I can hear you. You're like, I'm not frozen. Am I?
It's like, I don't think I'm frozen.
All right, I'm gonna refresh this. It appears that my Chrome tab has decided to wander off.
Classic Chrome.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting for Chrome to come back, should we talk a little bit about what the plan is for next step here once we get this kind of trigger hooked up?
Yep, absolutely. Once we validate that the forms can cause the app script to trigger and then write to the sheet, we're then going to change our function, because when the forms trigger runs, it actually passes in to the function some row information. So there's some trigger information that it passes to that function, and that includes like what the current row that it's writing to. And with that, we can then, okay, let's look at the data that's just been added. Now that we've got that row, we know, okay, if we're gonna append to that data, we just add it to the column next to the row. And we're actually going to use that along with the Vision API.
Okay.
So we're going to take like the drive URL, because there's drive integration in AppScript. So we can take that drive URL, actually extract out the image data, and pass that directly to the Vision API to be analyzed.
Well, it looks like this entire browser is about this.
Let's just reboot.
Reboot that. All right, all the tabs are sad. It's good. That's good. Yeah. Let the memory dump it out and start again. All right, good. Zach, you're back for a second attack.
I was going to type in.
Yeah, I guess it was an optional question, so I could have just left it off. All right, submit that.
That upload recent option is so useful for debugging this.
See here, this is Spreadsheet, so we want to open that. So there's our. Oh, interesting.
Another nice duck.
But why did it get put there?
Because you typed that number in.
5-1.
So you typed in number 5-1.
But don't you remember I had a nice duck at 4-1?
Oh, excellent point.
Yeah, I was trying to get it to be the row below it.
So if you notice at the bottom of the page, the tab in the sheets, it has a little forms icon next to that tab. That pretty much says this spreadsheet is, or this tab in our spreadsheet document, that's owned by forms. If you add any data under this, under these rows, it's likely to be deleted automatically by forms if it gets near it. So I've noticed that with any kind of functions, or if you put in if you write any functions for this like formulas, if you write formulas on this page, they tend to be deleted automatically. So if you want to say run formulas on this kind of data, you tend to have to just link it to a new tab.
Just make a new tab down here and make another sheet and use it from there. Gotcha.
Exactly. It's kind of weird that it deleted that even though it didn't get to that row yet, but it's just not good practice to write stuff under these rows, because they're just going to be steamrolled as forms fills up with data.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's a point to note. Let's get going with using the data passed from the forms. So we're next going to pretty much we've connected up everything. We've validated that forms is working and is triggering our app script. Next thing is we're just going to stay in app script then for the rest of the rest of the work. We don't need to test anything else.
We're going to need to get the.
We need to get the row ID from the app script event. So if you, in your my function, give it a parameter that's going to be passed in, like event data, that's going to be passed into my function, and then that's going to be filled in with some interesting data.
Wait, this function is going to have an input now.
Yeah, it's going to call out with an input.
Oh, cool. We should see what that input looks like.
Definitely. 1, 2.
Put in row 15. Do you know?
When I'm looking at my app script, sometimes I get something has went wrong as well. But it's the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, whenever code gets near me, things tend to go wrong.
Let's see, here we go.
Get range. what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's column 4.
The set value event. Oh, you're gonna
Well, I need somewhere to see what this event looks like.
So it's preferable because I don't think it's going to be able to convert that to a useful string.
Blast.
So if you do the logger.log for that, then
that'll be a lot easier than trying to print it into
logger.
the sheet. Because I was going to say this is getting rather cumbersome.
But I can tell you already that if you were to say event data.range.getRow, that would get you the row number of whatever data is being added.
So just for completeness and so we can show the people what it looks like, let's do that. And then we'll be able to see, and that means I have to fill out the form again, don't it?
Yeah.
We really need a way to automate filling and submitting this form. If only there was an API that could allow us to do that.
Actually,
right? Like you could have an app script that just like sends a thing, and that's all it does.
That's completely because you remember app scripts, you can put them on a time trigger. So you can be like,
oh my gosh. I mean, I don't need it to be on a time trigger. I just want to run the script, right? Like we could just run that script and have it just fill out a form and send it, assuming that we can fill out a form and send it, which I think we could. I don't know. One hopes.
Is that went there? Now we got to look at
where do I find the logs?
Yeah, and that'll be under. So if you go back to that page you're on, the app script sort of console, there's the executions.
So we got our 2 triggerings. The most recent triggering should have just been that, so there's nothing notable there. So we can see the logs that come out of that. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, if you look
that's
at
useful.
That, look at that. Isn't that useful?
So how did you get around this? Like, how did you figure out what was in there then?
I have no idea. It must have been copy and pasting from some example.
Fair enough. Yeah, because like when I do event dot, like there's no autocomplete.
Yeah, because that's like it's like a runtime thing. But yeah, event.range.getRow will give you
event.range.
.range, yep, and then .getRow camel case.
All our function calls.
And then range is a property.
Okay. .getRow.
And then that's it. That will give you the number, the row number. So that's an integer of the row. So we can assign that and use that.
As I did here.
Perfect. And then
that'll let us pull out that URL, right?
Yeah, because we want to get the drive URL. That's the first thing we want.
And Anu actually,
what I'll do,
Anu asked if we can use JSON.stringify. May as well add that in while we're at it. Is JSON loaded in here? Is it all caps?
I don't know.
This is one of the funky things about.
Oh yeah, JSON.
This is one of the funky things about whatchamacallit, AppScript, in that, you know, there's a bunch of libraries that exist, but you don't necessarily know about them unless you know about them.
Gotta know about it. Yeah, you gotta be in the know. I'm gonna send you in our shared doc. I've sent you some code. Oh, it's going to the second page for some reason. This is code that's gonna take the URL that you take, the drive URL, and it's gonna actually fetch the image bytes from it.
All right, I'm gonna push another test form filling through to test our Stringify as well as our drive URL getting call. Though I probably should have printed that out. Oops. Oh well. There's our print statements.
Let's see.
Oh, look at that. Thank you, Anu, for getting us that. That's so handy because now we can really see all the different things we have. Auth mode, named values. Let's just take this and let's JSON formatter us. Okay, so here we go. We have our questions. We have our, hey, look.
Nice.
It's our URL. Oh, also here.
Oh, that's useful. Oh, let's use that then. That's way easier.
So what is this? Values and last, right? It's the last value. So dot values and then bracket -1. Ooh, does JavaScript support that?
No, nah, you can't do that.
Spoiled by Python over here. All right, so you got the row,
It would be
event dot values dot. Oh, I see. This is the range you were using before. That's cool. How did you find this without also seeing this? That's interesting.
I copy and pasted example code. I did not inspect it as I probably should have.
So this is named values. And then these are values in an order. Okay. So values and then the last one. How do we get the last one out of JavaScript? Do we just have to do it explicitly?
You gotta. You can either put in explicitly because if we know the length, but you can put in the array.length to get the length of the array, and you have to work backwards.
Come on, JavaScript.
Yeah,
be better. Be better.
I think so. I've stated things previously that
anybody on the chat know how to get the last value out of a JavaScript array without abominations? Is it? It's not even .len, is it? Oh no.
Why are we using this instead of the named? Surely the named values are.
Yeah, they're just really long. But yes, that's a fair point. Named values, camel case. Is it named values then dot this whole thing? That wouldn't work.
No, that wouldn't work. I think you can still reference it by square.
Square references.
Bracket,
so
I think.
Name the values. And hopefully we figured something out here.
I wonder, do you need to put in like val or constant before this stuff, or does that just work?
It looks like it's straight into
looks like it works.
But we'll see.
That's nice.
And this time I will logger.log that. Okay, so let's see if that works. Yeah, does that look about right to you? This is the one thing I'll say about this workflow though. Until we come up with an AppScript way to submit this form, running a test is expensive.
Oh, you know what? Now that we know the exact output of the event, we can create a dummy function that just calls that function with that event.
That's brilliant.
Data, and so we can just hit the play button.
Yes, I am all about that. ASDF is in. This execution has not updated. Disappointingly, there it is. All right, here's our drive. Oh, it's in a bracket. We forgot to. What? Really? Oh, it is. Yeah, that's also an array. Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Get that 0. Yeah.
No big deal.
Okay. That's all cool. In fact, do you want to put in that debug function? Because I think we're probably going to use that a lot.
Do you think I should get this version or the other version? Like the flat version?
Either or. It should be fine.
All right.
Oh wait. The thing is, it's gonna replace the line, but it's fine. It's fine. You'll just see in the spreadsheet. It'll just replace it, but it's fine. It should be fine.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, and we can always function. I don't know.
Like test or debug or something. Return that or call my function, pass it in that.
Wow. Okay, that's the stringified version. I have to pass in the object, right? JSON
that should work.
Parse.
Oh no, you don't need to. Oh, is that string? That should still work. That's not that looks fine. That's the object. You can see it. There's no brackets around it. It's all fine.
Am I supposed to try wrap it in a string? No, I'm just kidding. Let's make it harder for ourselves. Why don't we? All right, return test JSON. Oh, I see.
No, you just call the function. Yeah, just put. Yeah, I don't think you need.
And then we can, since we're running this manually. And so then I select the different.
So now we can go. I'm gonna save it first.
I meant to hit save and hit play instead, so I don't know what just happened. Something weird. Yeah, cannot read property range of undefined. Yeah, no kidding. Form stub, run that.
Yep. Okay.
Event.range.getRow is not a function.
Oh, I guess maybe yeah, we are doing
Oh,
a
you
string
called
output. Maybe
getRow on this.
Maybe that's I mean that's the stringified version, but it's not the actual object. I guess. Okay, we don't need to get stuff on
Yeah,
this.
and we also don't
Yes, we
need
do.
this row
Not worth it.
value anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah, good point.
There's that
It's like,
detail.
what?
I left it in because I thought it wouldn't hurt, but apparently it does.
All right, that should work.
So
and
what
then
we
got
really
ourselves
wanted
a little
was
quick test
row
for it.
end or row start, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we ran that. We can see the logs for that execution here. And there's that full thing, and here's this whole thing, and here's our drive link. Man, this is a terrible way to view it. Go back to here.
Yeah, it's not as pretty as the other one.
Yeah, so there's our thing.
So yeah, that's
okay.
Cool. All right, in our code tunnel, you've got a little bit of code at the bottom. You want to copy that over. That's going to take that drive URL. It's going to split it so that we just get the ID of the doc. And then it calls like drive.app to actually fetch the drive file, not the actual data yet. It just fetches the file reference, and then we can call like get blob to actually get the data.
Yeah, I see what you're doing here, because this is the URL, just so people can see it. I'll make a comment at the top. Get image from drive. URL looks like that, and so it's something like very clever on splitting by the equal sign. So then we just get this portion. We get the second one of that.
Yeah.
So index 1, and then we call the drive app like you said. Okay. And we get the blah. Get the blah 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 blah. Get the blob. The blob bytes.
Blob. Get the blob. And then now we want to call the Vision API. So for those who are not aware of the Vision API, it is a pre-trained machine vision model that Google has already trained for us and exposed as a REST API. And it does things like label detection, so give it any image and it will sort of print out the labels. It's the exact same kind of technology that's used in the Google Photos app, if you've ever used that, where you upload your photos and you can search through that app for pictures of bicycles, but it shows your pictures of bicycles even though you've never manually labeled it. This is the kind of API that's used to generate those sort of generic labels. Yeah. And I think they've got a demo on their homepage.
Let's run our duck through that. Yeah.
Yeah, see the output, because it's really nice. The demo shows like the actual JSON output as well, so it's good for debugging.
Unfortunately, because of the way the site is structured, I need to zoom back out. All right, let's gotta find this thing.
Or I think that's a weird artifact. Sometimes you need to refresh. Yeah, you're gonna need to refresh. Let's see, common theme of the day.
Who loves CSS?
There it is. Refresh. Perfect.
There's our duck.
That's a duck.
And we can show JSON down here. So that's a nice little trick for folks who are trying to test this out. And we have this long response.
What's the request?
I was like, this doesn't look very response-like. But we have this even longer response. Holy smokes.
Because that's running all these different features. You can see on the left of the request, it's doing like landmark detection, face detection, object localization, logo detection. Because it's a demo, it's running all these features, but you can pick and choose which features you want to run. I think we want to run label detection. So what I'll do, because the API docs, there's docs that show you like the structure of the request. In fact, this shows you the structure of the request. I've got, and I'll put it back.
Yeah,
you
got a little helper function that we can use.
It's not so much. This will go in your helper function. And this will run a label detection, and it will create a little payload.
Nice.
And then, in fact, I'm just going to send you all of this code that goes in that function.
We'll walk through it a little bit. Yeah, this is a fair amount to type, and I want to be mindful of time here.
Because this is, after all, this is the API request, because you can get all this code in. There's loads of code examples in the documentation that will just show this exact thing. So it's not so much
this
like,
isn't like super. Yeah, this isn't super magical or anything.
Yeah.
So it looks like I did put this in a helper function. That was the plan, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm passing in image bytes. It looks like, I'm guessing.
Yeah, pass those bytes.
And let's see, we're gonna call Vision API with the file bytes here. We pass in this JSON payload, which is requests, and then has these features and image. We have a question here. Duck. Okay, there we go. Got the spacing right here. We got a URL.
It's not Python. You don't need to worry about that. You can be messy.
And then we have a URL fetch. So we're going raw, so to speak. We're just going straight for the raw REST API. There's no like nice library to call here. And we have our JSON.parse.
Yeah.
And
I think actually there is there's the library discovery that is in JavaScript. I think that's equally
it's pretty manual
because you're not going to get really a cleaner solution.
Yeah, it's super manual.
Yeah.
And you got a nice little for each wrapper here. Very clever.
Yeah. This is going to go through because when it returns, and you'll see like the JSON I put in the Vision API docs, it's pretty intense. And so what we wanted is we would want to just get the list of labels for the image. And so that's a little for loop I'm doing to navigate. So
you're getting the label annotations.
I'm sure we could. Yeah, exactly. We could have worked out like the tree structure by using like that JSON viewer that you use, but this is a way that's going to get us the text labels all as a list, nice and clean.
And then we need that API key.
We need that API key, yes.
So we should talk about how to make it. Why we might want to make a new file. Is that a script file, I guess?
Yeah, you can make yourself a script file. Call that something sensible.
As you say.
It's gonna be.
You asked for it, man. And so what we're gonna do here, if my understanding from our discussion earlier, what's interesting is both of these files can see each other's global space, right? And so if I put a variable in something sensible.js and specifically name it API key, the other file will have access to this API key.
Exactly. Everything's just public, global, nice, and easy to develop with.
And so in my cloud platform project, see, we set this up a little bit beforehand under APIs and services. And I think I'm in library or credentials. I forget which one here. Credentials.
Yeah, credentials.
I'll pop this over. And so you can create a new credential and choose API key. So we made one earlier, about 3 years ago, and and it's this key. And so this is not the recommended way to do things in like production. You want to use service accounts and OAuth and things like that, but it's a pretty nice way to do something in this environment where everything's running on the back end and it's like locked away, especially if it's your own thing.
Exactly.
So I've got that copied. I'm going to paste it in here and then switch back. So this key would allow anybody with access to that key to run commands in my project as if they were me. So I'm going to switch the view to just the two of us while I paste that so that I don't leak any secrets. And so all I did was I pasted it in and I switched back to this. Hopefully if I click save, it will save both files. It did not. All right, I'm going to have to switch back to that file again. So I'm going to switch back to this view again. Something sensible turns out to be less sensible than I initially thought. Okay, we're back on it now. I think we can just run this. Well, what will this do? This returns labels.
Yeah,
we got to do something with that return.
One thing though is the we created an API key in our Google project, but one thing is we need to make sure we've enabled the Vision API also in our Google.
I will say that if the Vision API isn't enabled in this project, it would be a sad day for us all, given that I've done a ton of demos with this project. But that is a good note. Yeah. Would that be in this menu too, or is that in IAM?
It'd be in the search. I always search for
All right, what should I search for?
it. Sometimes that search
Because this
doesn't-
search bar has been
Vision API.
hilarious for me sometimes. All right, it worked this time. That's always a
Or
relief.
it's cloud vision, yeah. So that you need to go there, and then it should give you a little prompt to enable. It's already enabled. Great.
Yep. So if you're
That should
not
work.
if you're enabled, it'll say option to disable. Don't click that, obviously. And so this returns a list of labels. We should push that into the spreadsheet somewhere, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Let's push that into the next column, or pick a column. So we need to go back to our sheet to see that which column we want to put that in.
So we had our here range. It was, let's do row start, and we can do column end +1, right, for the column value.
Yeah, we could do it. We could do it with that. Yeah. I was just the way I've just been doing it is I've just been looking at. I've just been hard coding magic numbers all over.
How do you know what row to put it in though?
It's like, you look at the sheet and you count.
Nice.
I was like, just because yeah, that's the thing. If I want to pick the column, you gotta specify the column
no, I
number.
can hard code the column, but you still have to get the row somehow, right?
Oh,
but that broke.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
we had
right.
to do it. We had to find our own way.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, you're right. I thought you were asking how do you get the column number. I was like, it's just the next column.
Yeah.
No, okay, yeah. Get the column. Yeah, we're just gonna do it the same way that we did before, where it's we use get row star. I think I've used.
Well, it's to allow our stub to work, our test.
Okay. I wonder if that should work. I imagine.
Labels. So then we
Yeah,
gotta push a value. So we tried pushing a value before. I deleted that code. Oh no. I deleted the code that I used to write some stuff in before, so now I don't remember what it was.
Oh,
it's
okay.
get active dot get active. So this is a test of my recollection.
Oh, let me send
Then
you
it's get range, right? And then we pass an integer row num, call num +1, and then we can set value.
Did you say
labels? Does that look about right?
So you called spreadsheet app dot get active
and then get active sheet.
Get active sheet. Yeah, I actually called you can.
Oh, you can just get active sheet directly.
Apparently.
Great.
Yeah.
It's smart enough to know that when I want the active sheet, it's the active spreadsheet sheet.
Yeah.
And get that range, pass in our row num and column num that we care about, and we set the value.
Note, I think the labels, that's going to pass in the string, and it doesn't really handle like JavaScript.
Oh yeah, this is an array.
So yeah, we probably want to join that. Do a little join on that. Make it pretty.
I'm going to use a comma space as our join separator.
Yeah. I mean, this is the one thing which JavaScript does cleaner than Python.
I mean, Python has a similar syntax for joining arrays.
But you have to put the join string at the start.
String.join, yeah.
I think doesn't make sense.
I guess that's it.
Okay. That could be it.
Shall we fill out a form?
We just
fill out a form for real. Well, we can run our test suite. Test suite. Form stub. Run it. Oh, this is going to call the Vision API and everything. Whoa.
Yeah, it is. It's going to ask you authorization because it's calling an external service. Every time you add new functionality, if it's requiring new scopes, it will automatically ping you for that.
What do I click on? Oh, this one. I was like, I don't know which of these buttons to click. All right. I'm glad we tested that. Because what would happen if I just run it from forms? When would it prompt me?
It would tell you.
Yeah,
it would get an error.
But how would you even auth it without? You'd have to have some way to.
So actually, we still need to re-auth it in the trigger panel. Yeah, it's kind of. I don't know if there's like a more seamless way of like update.
So here's our responses.
No, we have to.
This should have been.
Oh, nice. Range. So it did work. Did they appear in the spreadsheet?
For some reason, it's row 6 instead of the normal value. Dum da dum.
What happened?
Boom.
Nice. Okay. Let's get our forms to call that now. Shall we just test it now with forms so that we can see what error we get? Because I think it's
instead of just updating the trigger manually.
Yeah. Because I would assume we've already authorized it, so it should just work.
Duck 1 for real this time.
And I imagine it's gonna go in, but it won't update. Oh no, it worked.
I think it worked. It looked like it worked, man.
Work? Oh, I guess the authorization does.
It carries
follow
through.
Over. This is the good thing with
yeah.
trying
stuff. All right, let's do the other 2 ducks we've got. What was that? You know, this is another duck.
Yeah.
And this is the big finale that everybody who's followed us through all the way to the end here. Hopefully my drive thing works. Like this is where I got hung up last time. Yeah.
Oh, really?
This is how we like crashed the tab before. Yeah.
Huh.
Like this is exactly what happened. This animation like started and then was just like, I give up.
I don't know. That's strange.
Like click and cancel doesn't do anything. Oh, look at that. It's
Oh, it did not like that.
yeah, I'm not sure why that's the form. It doesn't like it.
But yeah,
I'll just
every time I test it, I always upload from local, so I've never went through that journey, but that's interesting.
Duck a second time. All right, I'll just upload local then. And if the stream becomes choppy for a second, you all know why. It's because I'm uploading a file.
The ducks.
Too much ducks. There's too many ducks in the tubes. All right, let's refresh the spreadsheet. We got duck a second time. This is the green duck. It's a similar but not identical list.
Slightly different, yeah.
So we got buffalo head. Buffalo head.
Oh, is that the type of duck?
There's a couple of different choices. There was also a ruddy duck, a golden eye. So I don't actually know what kind of duck we had. Quack. All right. Everyone watching is just like, what a bunch of quacks writing forms.
This is important. Otherwise, the duck conference will be a failure if we can't validate them.
All right, duck number 3, and then we'll let people get on with their days, and we'll duck when they start throwing stuff at us to hurry it up here. All right, here's our third duck, and it says our third kind of duck is vertebrate, beak, bird, duck, waterbird, ducks, geese and swans, goose, waterfowl, and swan. So a lot of different options here, slightly different from the other kind of listing in terms of order, but very similar otherwise, right? These also had kind of geese and swans, waterbird, waterfowl, so similar pictures.
Well, the way to like the cherry on the top is put in some conditional formatting.
Based on like the first word or something?
Well, because the conditional format gives you, if you click on the column and go like format conditional, it will already give you options of like string contains.
Oh, wow. Format tells if
which is
string text is and contains.
Text contains is just there. Yeah.
Duck.
Boom.
So these 3 all contain duck. There's plenty of duck here.
You can add another layer to be like contains goose.
Yeah. How did the overrides work?
I think it's based on, I think one is above the other. So if you drag, there's like a drag to the left.
Look at that.
Yeah. Hey.
So there it is, folks. Duck, duck, goose.
And that was it. That was the whole.
That's the punchline, folks. I think I hear some crickets on the other end on that joke, but all of this set up just for some duck goose.
Just for that.
Yeah. So hopefully that was worth it. So thank you everybody for joining us. I know we're a little bit over, and thank you to Zack for coming on and showing us this fun, if somewhat whimsical connection. I think as Tibor said, the proof of concept is working, and the idea that the takeaway here is, it's pretty remarkable in that, we only wrote the core logic that we needed, and we were able to leverage so much pre-built stuff. But the stuff we're leveraging isn't like, how a lot of times stuff that's like pre-built is really brittle, and it's like, you must do it this way, and like, it's still flexible. We're still able to write code, still able to program, which gives us a ton of like options and maneuverability.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And the coolest thing is this is working. This is full. This is deployed. You can share this, share the forms, and it's an end-to-end
Steven
thing.
asks, is this code publicly accessible? I mean, in so much as like this ugly code is now live streamed onto the internet, and you can rewind this and see it. Yes, but also, Zach, if you want to tell them about something or another with all the guides.
Yeah, on the AppScript developer, there's a gallery.
Where's this gallery, man?
I believe. I think it's under samples.
All right, so this is the main web page, and samples are here. Articles, okay.
Samples are at the top, sample, and then at the left is like the G Suite Solutions gallery.
Wow, look at that.
And that includes loads of end-to-end examples, and one of them is pretty much using the same sort of pattern, but they use the natural language API. And this week as well, I think I presented on, I think it was called Cloud Talks, where I showed literally one-for-one example of what we built here. But then I also took the output of the Vision API. I got it to run text detection, and I fed the output through the natural language API. And it was literally copy and pasting code. Like
there's sentiment analysis here that you could probably use for something like that. Is there a Vision one already in here or no?
I think there's going to be a Vision one.
Very cool. Yeah, and as Zach mentioned earlier this week on Tuesday, we had a Cloud Talks with DevRel session where Zach kind of showed a more extended version of this just as a demo. So I was looking forward to having a chance to sit down with him and build it now from scratch and really see the inner workings and get all the kind of see how all the guts and glory, as it were, inside the internals.
I thought you were gonna make another duck pun.
make a duck pun.
I don't know how all the inner workings quack. I don't know.
But Nicholas asked if we would be willing to share the file actions file minus the API. Not entirely sure what he means by that. I think folks mainly just want this code.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing else to share.
It's so simple. There's so little to this. I can. I'm trying to think what would be the best way to get this out. Zach, do you or do you want me to just like throw this up on as like a GitHub gist maybe?
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest that as well. Yeah, just put it
okay. I'll put it up as a gist. If you want to just confirm that, are you on the meetup group for the folks who are watching? If you're not, the link is in the description. I'll email out like a little summary after this to everybody who RSVP'd yes to kind of do a little wrap up, and I'll link the gist with all the source code that we're using here, and like you said, obviously minus the API key. That would be a hilarious mistake. Here's an API key, everybody. Enjoy. Well, okay. I guess that wraps it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Friday. And, we'll see you next week. Next week, we got an exciting episode of the Data Show ready for you coming up on Wednesday with Felipe Hoffa. And we'll be kind of diving into some more inner workings of BigQuery. So looking forward to that. You can follow Zack on Twitter at Zack Akil. It's, this hand right here on the stream. And thank you everybody for coming. Thank you to Zack, and we'll catch you next week. See you Wednesday.